Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a card with the Bold Bouquet stamp set bundle. This is one of the bundles from the current Stampin' Up! Annual catalog, and it's just a pretty floral bundle with some good sentiments in it and some pretty dies, and hopefully you'll like the bundle too. So this is a card. It's actually a pretty simple one, just a little bit of layering. Trying to get things straightened out here on the screen. So hopefully you're not looking at it all crookedy. There we go. Looks a little bit better at this point. So just a pretty little card that I made with some blues and yellows and greens. And yeah, that's about it for the card today. So hey, Mary Kay, thanks for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. And Gina Marie, thanks for coming and finding me at 3 o'clock instead of 2. Had a little change in the schedule today. And I don't know, with the summer schedule, it is what it is. That's all I can say. So, hey, Karen, thanks for hopping in. And I see Ellen is here as well. So, and Elise and Connie. So thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. So, and Barbara as well. So this is the stamp set. Again, it's called Bold Bouquet. And it's just, again, a pretty floral images and some good sentiments. Love the mixed fonts on the sentiments, and kind of just a general card that or general sentiments you can use for a lot of different reasons. So I see Jeannie is here, and Carol and Ramona. Thanks so much. I appreciate you being here, and thanks for your nice comments on my card. So before I set that aside, I guess I should say this is the die set, again, called Bold Bouquet. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that today, but the open dies are the ones that actually cut out all the little stamped floral images, and then there are a couple of them here that are accessory dies that will cut out the just some greenery and things that if you want to add a few extra pieces on, you can do that as well. I didn't on my card today, just stamped everything and die cut it, and I'll show you what I did here in just a second. So hey, Marilyn, thanks for joining. A couple other things that I used on this. I did use the Countryside Corners, actually the whole bundle, so not just the stamp set, but I used the dies as well. And I used those to cut out just a little frame around this to frame it in. And I kind of stole a little of this. I don't know. There was a card that was similar to both of these. It was 2 different cards, and I kind of mushed them together in the annual catalog, kind of mushed them together and made a card out of it that way. So, hey, Ellie, thanks for hopping in from Georgia. So this is the Countryside stamp set, which again is just, it's one, whoops, I guess I got it on a block already. So it's just one large stamp. It's more like a background stamp, basically. And then there are dies that will cut out each of the little lines on the octagon, I guess it is, 8 sides. Octagon, right? I think that's what it is. So, all right. So again, these are the Countryside Corners dies. There's a little banner die in here as well, but the rest of them are good sizes for sentiments. So even if you don't necessarily love the stamp set, the die set is good and works with a lot of other stamp sets as well. So, all right. Let me set this stuff aside and grab a couple of other pieces of paper here, and then we will get going. So, Stampin' Up! Has got a joining promotion going on for the month of June. If you are not a demonstrator yet, but have any interest in joining, it is a great time to join. There's actually, you're going to get $30 of additional products in your starter kit for free. You pay $99. You get to pick $155 worth of your choice of Stampin' Up! Products. It can be anything that's currently available from Stampin' Up! In the catalog, online store, the pre-order from the online exclusives, all that sort of thing. It's all available in the starter kit. Then once you join, you get at least a 20% discount on all of your orders. And yeah, and then you get to be a part of our little group. So a part of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. And you can pre-order from the upcoming mini catalog, that sort of thing. So let me know if you have questions on this. We'd be happy to have you come join us. We're a very relaxed group of stampers that mostly just love stamping and love Stampin' Up! Products. So that's why we're demonstrators. So let me know if you have any questions or have an interest in joining. I'd be happy to talk with you more about it. Designer Series paper sales going on as well for the month of June, and actually I used some of the paper that is on sale on the background of my card. It is from the Inked Botanicals Designer Series paper pack, but there are a total of 13 packs that are on sale for 15% off during the month of June. So go and grab your papers and get a good deal on those. Get stocked up on some pretty papers during the month of June. And then I already talked briefly about the online exclusives, but there are some new ones that are coming in the month of July. So starting July 6th, you'll be able to order these as a customer. Demonstrators can actually pre-order them now. We can pre-order the one horse open sleigh is what I was trying to say, suite collection, which or you can get the individual pieces of it. It's got a stamp set bundle, some beautiful paper, and some adhesive snowflakes. And then there is a second timeless charm bundle. Those will definitely be available starting on the 6th of July, but there are also some other products which you can probably see. I know there's somewhere. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they didn't show any of them on here. But I know there are more products that are coming and more Christmas-related things, it looks like. So let me know if you have questions on that. Yeah, that's it. So let's get going on the card. All right, I have got a crushed curry card base. This one is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4 right in the middle. And then I have got a piece of the Inked Botanicals Designer Series paper, and it's mostly crushed curry-ish colors. It's shades of yellow and a little bit of white looks like in there as well. And yeah, just a kind of a nice muted background panel. This is cut to about 4 1/4 by 5.5. So if I've cut everything correctly, it should fit over the entire card front. So this is the flip side of that paper. It's a beautiful pack of paper. If you don't have it, get it now. It's 15% off for the month of June, and then you got a whole lot of time to use it up. So it's pretty. There's a coordinating. Driving right off the edge of the card base already. That is not a good sign for today. Gosh. Yeah, a little liquid glue. Whoopsies. It happens. See, this is why I don't love liquid glue, because now I got a glue mess on my paper. All right, we'll try to just roll it over and hopefully not stick too much all over the edges. All right, let's get this stuck down before I make an even bigger mess of things. So there we go. Got that stuck on the card front. Again, just trying to, the one reason that I do like liquid glue is that it does give me a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that everything is lined up before it is stuck down forever and for good. And I can tell already I'm going to have a gluey spot on the edge of this card base that I'll have to grab my glue eraser later and clean up the mess because it's sticky and it's sticky on the sheet and everything. So yuck. Anyway, liquid glue and I are not always friends. So next thing that I did was I've got a piece of basic white cardstock and now I have glue on my fingers. See, this is why I don't, liquid glue, yuck. So, all right, so I've got the Countryside Corners stamp and crushed curry ink, and I'm just gonna stamp this image. This stamp set actually is, like I said, it's a background size stamp and it comes all in one. So basically you stamp all of the images at once and then you cut out the ones that you want for your framing, or you can, use them all, however you want to do it. So, got that inked in crushed curry, and again, stamping it on basic white cardstock. The one nice thing about the dies that I'm using to die cut this with is it doesn't matter at all if I stamp this straight in the least, because we're going to be die cutting it, although it does matter that I did not get a very good image there on the one edge. Hey, all right, let's try this again. Apparently I did not get it very well inked. All right, there we go. I get busy yucking instead of pressing down on it. Okay, try this a second time. We'll take the one that looks the best. Whoop, got to make sure I'm actually on the paper though. I'm going to stand up here and give it a good hard smoosh and make sure that I've got it well inked, hopefully, and well stamped. That looks better. There we go. All right, so I've got that done. What I'm going to do then is grab 2 of my dies, and I want what I'm looking for is the one that's the 3 stitched lines together, if that makes sense. That's the frame that I want to cut out. So I'm going to grab the 2 dies that are just larger, just smaller than that image, and we are going to die cut this frame. I am going to grab some of my Post-it note tape to hopefully hold these dies in place a little bit. Oop, and they're running short on it. I do have more in my drawer, don't worry, we're all good. All right, so I'm gonna just make sure that I've got these lined up fairly straight. Gonna try to stick down with a little bit of the Post-it note tape, and then same thing on the inner frame, just gonna make sure that I've got it fairly well lined up here. Hopefully get it on here straight, and then use a little bit of Post-it note tape to hold it in place so that I can run these through at the same time. You can run them through separately if that is easier for you, but I usually try to get my die cutting done as quickly as I can. So hang on one second, I'll be off screen. after the die cutting, you've still got those pieces left, but you also have a really pretty little frame. So again, you can kind of use this die and the framing of it, die set and the framing of it however you want to, however works best for you. Like I said, you can stamp the whole thing, and if you want the largest image, what you can do then is take the second largest of the dies. So if you want the largest frame, the little polka dotty one to show, you can take the second largest of the dies and the largest and put it together, or you can take the second largest and die cut just a plain white piece of cardstock and put it inside it. So you can use them in all sorts of different ways to create pretty little frames. All right, let me get this mess cleared up and out of the way. And then ahead of time, I cut just a piece of basic white cardstock, again with that second largest of the dies, the one I used to cut the exterior of this. And we're going to try again with the liquid glue. And I'll try not to glue myself to anything. So, hey Deb, thanks for hopping in late. You missed me making a mess with liquid glue, so you haven't missed too much so far. So hopefully I won't make too much of a mess with this one. Just putting a little bit, trying to keep it a thin line and not go too crazy and end up with glue everywhere. And then I'm going to try to pick it up here and again not stick my fingers in the glue, and we're just going to stick it directly to the plain die cut that I've done here. And again, using the liquid glue gives me just a second to line things up and make sure that I've got it on here fairly straight and that the edges are lined up where I want them to be before I smush it down. Whoop, there I see I've got an edge that's peeking out that I don't necessarily want peeking out, so I'm just going to slide it down just a hair. There we go, that looks better. And then stick it down for good. So I'm glad it's not just me, Deb, because that liquid glue, I don't know how I get it all over everything in me, and I've glued myself to the project usually 3 times before I'm done. Liquid glue and I are definitely not friends. Hey, Julie, thanks for hopping in. All right, so I have got a sentiment from the Bold Bouquet stamp set, and this one says, "Thanks for blessing my life," which I thought was kind of a sweet little sentiment, and Lost Lagoon ink. And because it's photopolymer and I can see through, I'm going to do a little test one, make sure, yep, looks like we got an all right inking of it. And just going to slide this right down in here, and I want it to be above the framing, so that's why I stuck the frame down first, and then I'm going to stamp the sentiment. There we go. That one looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. See, and I have been stamping long enough that I should know how to use it without sticking me to everything that I'm working on, but so far I haven't. I don't know. I just don't like it. So it's not easy to use. If I can get by with using Stampin' Seal, I will. So, all right. So I'm going to keep with the Lost Lagoon ink, and I'm going to stamp the second largest of the flowers here from the Bold Bouquet stamp set. And just stamp it on basic white cardstock. And I've done some stamping and die cutting ahead of time, so thankfully you don't have to sit and watch me stamp over and over and cut all the stuff out. I just going to kind of do one of each here, but everything else I've got pre-cut. So, all right, I've got crushed curry ink, and that one I'm going to stamp the largest of the flower images in. Ink that a little bit more. All right, then we'll stamp that one over here. And then I have got a little, kind of the little bud, little rose bud. I don't even know if it's a rose, a little bud, we'll just call it that. That I'm going to stamp in crushed curry ink. And we'll tuck that one right in here around the Lost Lagoon image. And then the final one that I'm going to stamp here is one of the greenery pieces. And I'm just going to stamp that in garden green ink. And then we'll be doing a little die cutting. There we go. All right, looks like we got some decent images there. So again, I did quite a bit of the die cutting ahead of time, so you didn't have to sit and watch me do all of it, especially the greenery pieces, because, you know, after you cut about 12 of them, you're like, okay, I get it now. All right, so let me grab a couple of dies here. So I've got this die that matches the large flower, this one that matches the kind of medium-sized, get it on here the right way around, the medium-sized flower. And then this one that matches the smaller flower, which I'm probably going to have to run this through twice because I've got them a little too close together. And then there's this one that coordinates with the greenery image. The other greenery images I cut out with this die and with this die. So I stamped and die cut those ahead of time. So hang on one second and I will go run this through the die cutting machine. Hey, thanks for hopping in from Italy. Hopefully it's a beautiful day there as well. It's beautiful here in New Jersey. So, and Stephanie, I'm glad you're here as well. So from Idaho. All right. Hopefully lining stuff up straight. Alright, got 3 of them done. So the bigger flower, the medium flower, and the greenery are done. We just have the little flower left. All right, there we go. Get the dies set aside so I don't lose track of any of those. And kind of slide everything over to the side, and I can still feel the glue all over the paper. All right, and then I'm going to take this and go ahead and adhere it to the card front so that I know where the edges of everything will be, and going to use some of my little chopped up half Stampin' dimensionals for to adhere this to the card front. So there we go. Now I just have to pick the backings off of those. And 2 more. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to take this and try to slide it up here and get it lined up a little bit on the grid paper. There also obviously are the lines in the designer series paper, so hopefully that'll help me to get things lined up fairly straight and fairly even and not upside down or anything like that. All right, I think we got it on there reasonably straight. Now I'm just going to grab some glue dots and start sticking some of the images to the card front. When I did this initially, I kind of laid out the pieces here and sort of figured out where I wanted things to be and then glued things down with the glue dots once I had it laid out. Since I've done the layout once, I'm just going to go ahead and start sticking things down with the little glue dots. And yeah, and hopefully I don't make a mess of anything. And if I do, you know, you can always pick them off again and try it over. So there we go. We'll put down that one and put one of the little greenery pieces right over here along the edge. There we go. And then I'm going to grab one of the smaller greenery pieces and tuck it up here underneath this little guy. There we go. And then I'm going to take the other little flower and stick that one on over here. And then another one of the larger greenery pieces. Take that and kind of tuck it in over the top of the smaller flower, but try not to cover up the sentiment. Then I'm going to take one of my 2 blue flowers. So, oh, I'm glad you're liking the color combination. I just, like I said, I kind of went with the colors that were in the designer series paper, even though I really didn't use any of the colors from the paper, but I know that they coordinate together. And so Stampin' Up! Does the hard work for us and kind of figuring out what colors go together. So even if I don't necessarily use a paper that's got all those colors in it, I still kind of tend to lean towards grabbing the colors from the designer series paper when I'm sticking things together. Just so that I know that everything's going to match. All right, there we go. Tuck those in. And then I'm going to grab this little piece of greenery. And we will stick that down, pointing down this way. And I think we've got another little one that I will stick underneath here. Over the blue, under the yellow. There we go. And then we've got another little piece of greenery, or a larger piece of greenery that I'm going to put here. Stick it down kind of underneath this little one, hanging off the bottom. And then another little of the smaller die cuts of greenery. And we're just going to take that one and tuck it underneath the flower here. And I do kind of usually wait until everything is on my card front until I give it one last really hard smush down, just to make sure that things are in the spot where I want them to be, because right now I think this one needs to move out just a little bit further. So I will pull that off and slide it out just a little bit. And then Oh, thanks, Jeannie Marie. I'm glad you're liking it. So, and then I'm going to grab a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere my larger flower on. And I can see already, the layout obviously is a little bit different. I stamped the sentiment, I think, in a slightly different place on my sample card. So the way that I'm having to do my flower layout is slightly different on this card. But that's okay, because it's a collage and it ends up how it ends up. So that's kind of it for the card front. Added a couple sequins on there. I am going to give it a little smush here since I've got everything stuck down. And I am going to grab a little glue dot here, and I'm going to tuck it underneath the larger flower to stick that down more securely to the card front. It's stuck down with dimensionals on the bottom, but I just used a little glue dot to stick it down on the top. So next thing I'm going to add is a bunch of these little, they are the adhesive backed sequins trio, and I'm going to use the white ones on here, which I know they don't stand out particularly well, but all I wanted was to kind of give it a little bit of, I don't know, a little sparkle, I guess, is really all I was looking for on it. So I didn't necessarily want a gem that was really going to stand out and show, like, wow, that's sparkly and in your face kind of thing. I wanted something that was a little more muted. So I just went with these little white sequins, which I thought were kind of pretty. So there we go. That's it for the card front. So hopefully you can see the little sequins if I hold it up for a second. Just gives it a nice little bit of shimmer to it. And I did stick 5 of them on there, but there are lots of them on this sequins pack. So, stick them everywhere. All right, on the inside of the card, I kept it pretty simple. I just used a little piece that I had trimmed off from the card front. This is, I don't know, about 5/8 of an inch by, it's 6 inches long at this point. But again, it can be however wide you want it to be. If you want to go with a 1/2 inch, you can do that. If you want 3/4 of an inch, you can do that. If you want somewhere in between, which is probably closer to what this is, I don't know that it's quite 5/8 of an inch, but I don't think it's quite 3/4 either. So it's just something that I hacked off the edge. Stick it down here on a piece of basic white cardstock. The cardstock is cut to about 4 inches by 5 1/4. I do tend to kind of leave the little pieces that I stick on the bottom, on the inside of my cards, a little longer, just because it gives me a little lever to move things around. And also it's easier to trim it down than it is to add to it if you've cut it a little bit short, because I've done that before too. All right, grab and stamp and seal, and we're going to adhere this to the inside of the card. And that's going to be it. So, all right, there we go. That's stuck on the inside. Going to fold it closed and then do a quick crease at the bone folder. And then I'm going to go clean up all the glue that I have sticking to myself and to the edge of this card where I made the mess. And that's it for today. So it's a beautiful stamp set. And like I said, you can just pick your favorite colors or do like I did and grab a pack of Designer Series paper, pull the colors right from that Designer Series paper pack, make your flowers, put the designer paper pack in the background, and you'll be all set. I do love the little framing on the countryside corners, so I think that adds a nice little touch to it. If you don't love the framing on it, you can certainly grab any rectangular-ish die cut that you got. If you have something with a pretty scalloped edge or something like that, that would work as well. But like I said, I like the little stamped frame on it. So, all right, well, that is all that I had for today. All the details for this card will be I'll learn how to speak one of these days. Be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is Wednesday, and I will link directly to the blog post once it goes live around 8 in the morning Eastern time. So hopefully all the details, hopefully you'll be able to find all the details there. I will put a copy of a PDF tutorial out there, so you'll have that to go to. All the colors will be listed out, all the cardstock cuts, all the products that I used, all those good things will all be there. So yay, I'm glad you caught me just by chance too, Stephanie, so thanks so much. So yeah, so that's it. So the post will go live tomorrow morning, and I'll link up to it then so you can come back and take a peek at it. If you let me know if you have any questions about anything, I'll plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday. And then again next week, Tuesday. The time is probably going to be a little up in the air. I'm trying to schedule, we have like appointments and things for the kids this summer. So I'm, trying to keep it fairly consistent. Hopefully it'll be around the 2 or 3 o'clock time frame, but I'll definitely let you know next week what time I'll be going live. So thanks so much. I appreciate you all being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will chat with you all soon.